What's up, guys? Hey, this is Christian Brindle with Six Figure Medicare Agent. Hope this video finds you doing well. And I have a treat for you today. I have somebody that I've been meaning to have a conversation with for a long time. I'm glad we were finally able to kind of make it happen. I have Brad Hannon here with me. Brad, thank you for taking some time on a Friday to be here with me.
Yeah, man, it's not a problem. Like you just found out, I got my 15-month-old in the background, so I'm just gonna go ahead and apologize in advance if he runs in here or whatever. But hey, man, I'm looking forward to get to know you and you get to know me a little bit. So thanks for having me on.
Hey, likewise. I mean, I can totally relate because, during the pandemic, my wife and I have a almost 13-month-old. And so during the pandemic, of course, working from home, I'll be on the phone trying to make sales. I'll be dialing. I'll be talking to clients. I'll be talking to agents. I'll be doing videos. And it seems like no matter what I do, there's some kind of interruption, working from home.
Oh yeah, it's gonna happen one way or the other. So you just got to roll with it.
Yeah. I mean, most people are understanding, right? Most people are like, we're all stuck at home. It's a pandemic. You got a kid. It's no big deal. Most people are fine with it. But every now and then you run into a person that's got to stick up their butt.
You won't find that here. Don't worry.
Hey, well, Brad, tell the audience a little bit about you. Like, talk about your journey. How did you get into insurance? How did it lead up to what you're doing today? And what is it that you're working on today?
Yeah. So, I guess I got into insurance like some do through kind of a captive agency, selling under 65 products. And, I had a really good experience there. So I know one of the times that we interacted was, amongst the Friday happy hour. And while I don't remember exactly what I said, I know it was something along the lines of, there are different channels for everybody. And,
yes.
And I think that starting out, I mean, man, I learned a lot. And I was in an environment that, just bred producers, and we weren't ashamed of it. Now, that being said, I didn't know fully what we were selling. I didn't know fully what a book of business meant in the long term. I didn't know, there was a lot that I didn't know. I didn't know what I didn't know, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And that sort of had a tragic ending at the time. We thought it was tragic. We left there. I had a little bit in the bank and a lot of it in taxes owed. And so I learned really quickly a few things, to pay taxes quarterly, to, put some money away and, all that stuff. But I was coming literally from $40,000 to $60,000 a year my whole life to, well into the six figures for the first time ever. And I think I learned the hard way that, money doesn't grow on trees, right?
Right.
And so from there, I actually fell into sort of a brokerage world in the under 65 space. I work with a company called Healthcare Solutions Team. And honestly, I found them in October, right? Because that was when I left the captive agency. Found them in October, and I was like, babe, and my wife got me into insurance. I can't leave that part out because without her, none of this would happen. But she pulled my arm, and I guess that was her retirement plan. So I left there, and it was October, and I told her, I said, babe, I'm done. I'm gonna sell through open enrollment, but I'm done. I don't want to be burned anymore. There's just insurance industry is just full of shady people, and and that was only 2.5 years into it, and that's how I feel. So right. Fast forward a few more years, and I'm still here, and I'm still doing what I'm doing. And I'm so thankful because it's that experience that moving forward in the future that I hope to change. So that's as far as what I'm working on now. It's just continuing to link arms with guys like you and many others out there that are ready to change this industry with a lot more transparency and openness and honesty. And, hey, this industry is for you or it isn't for you. I'm not afraid to tell somebody, we don't just recruit everybody. I'll tell somebody right away, hey, I don't think this is for you. And if you want to move forward, then that's your choice. But I'm just warning you right now, I don't think you're going to make it, guy. But that's just kind of, the difference, I guess, in this day and age. So that's where we are today.
Sure. And I think a lot of people that are, building a business and building, a hierarchy, they're kind of looking at it from a mindset that they're, they just want everybody. They just want to fling their contracts at everybody. You know what I mean? And see what it hits and see what sticks. And I think, I think the people that are doing a great job at it, like yourself, are taking the time to look at somebody and being like, okay, are they going to be a good fit? And number two, are they right for this business? Because not everybody is.
Yeah, absolutely. And the saying, those that can do and those that can't teach. I think that we've just seen a lot of that throughout the insurance industry over the last 10 years or whatnot. It's a lot of people that have climbed into the ranks of leaders. I gotta throw the air quotes in there. Climbed into the ranks of leaders, right, based on production or based on politics, and it's those that have kind of climbed into those ranks that they're just not providing a whole lot of value. They're just not doing things that I feel like they're not earning that override. And I work from a premise of like, my agents pay me. My agents pay me to show up. My agents pay me to be there to help them close their first sales. And so you've got to treat it as such. And back to those that can't teach thing, I think that people just realize that, man, I'm never going to make the $250,000, $500,000, $1 million that I want to make just as a producer. So I'm going to build a team. Whereas I feel like sometimes I really kick myself when I see, some people posting, I sold this and that today. And I'm like, son of a biscuit. I wish I could even have made a sales call today for myself. I sold a lot of policies today, but they weren't for me.
Yeah.
And so, sometimes I kick myself because I feel like I definitely could make more money as just an individual producer buried in an office with my head into my computer and, just hammering the phones. And I know for sure that I could, but at the end of the day, I wouldn't feel as good. I mean, yeah, sure, I'm helping people, but not in the way that I want to help people. I want to grow a team. I want to help to change this industry. So, there's a certain income that I'd be willing to give up in order just to, make an impact on other people, other agents' lives. So,
yeah, I mean, it's that long-term vision. I think that the coolest thing about that is, not only, you're taking the sacrifice of your time to kind of help other people build careers, and down the road, that's going to come back on you tenfold, in terms of what you get as an actual tangible reward a little bit. I mean, it's going to benefit you tremendously with, the killer agents that you're going to have.
Yeah. No, we're not naive to the fact that obviously the investment that I'm making on the front end is certainly going to pay dividends on the back end. And that's something that I look forward to. But I'm not quite there just yet. I mean, I mentally, my bank account would say otherwise sometimes, but certainly mentally, there are days where you're just exhausted and there are days where the message that you're delivering feels like it falls on deaf ears and not everybody agrees with you. And, I don't know. I just think that, if you're in this industry and you are using that, the whole like, well, I'm not in it for the money. I'm not in it for, I'm not in it for the big numbers. I'm in it to help people, then I think you're selling yourself short. And I think you're selling the industry a line of B because, how do we measure it? Like if you're so passionate about it, why would I not be more passionate about it because I sell more of it? Like, doesn't that just mean I'm more passionate about it? Like, I don't know. The church measures off of salvations a lot of times because they're passionate about it, right? And if the church was existing and they're like, well, no one got saved in the last 20 years in this church, but we're really passionate about helping people get saved. It's like, why didn't you help anybody get saved then?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people going to hell, right?
You're sitting around, in a circle talking about how passionate you are and you're not going and helping anybody.
Yeah. And I think that, I have a background in student ministry and, I worked with some churches that, from a church standpoint, highly competitive. You know what I mean? Like we're comparing numbers, like we're looking at like butts and seats and hands raised when we offer a prayer of salvation. Right. And so I look at the church doing it and I'm like, man, if the church is doing it and they're doing it right, it's not a bad thing. Why can't we do it in the insurance world? And why is there such a, a negative outlook to the massive amounts of money we can make while helping just as many people, because there's obviously a direct correlation there.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, like one thing that's, been kind of rolling around in my head quite a bit lately is in terms of whether you're helping an agent or whether you're helping a customer, getting a new policy or getting a better policy, whatever the case might be. I mean, the amount of people you help is in direct correlation to how many policies you write and how many people you work with and how many people you're touching. And I don't think people get that. You know what I mean? Like I can look at someone like, Eric Fierro or Justin Brock or Medicare Bob or any of these guys, and I'd be like, they've helped more people than Christian Brindle. It just means that Christian Brindle has more work to do.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I had to like fix my hair before this too, just to make sure that I was somewhat on Eric's level and whatnot here.
Well, I've been, anytime Eric gets on camera with his hair, the screen basically cracks because of the perfection. So
I love it. But yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. It is obviously about helping people, and we have to be able to measure ourselves somehow. I actually was talking with some of my agents this morning, and I said, I know that there's because not everyone's got the competitive nature in them, right? But, I mentioned, I know that some people in this audience, in this group, but we're not super competitive, or you're not super overly competitive. But I bet you if I closed every single grocery store, locked your pantries, took all the food away from you, you're going to be fighting for breadcrumbs, right? You're going to be fighting for that food. And that is competition in its purest form, right? So, competition doesn't have to be a bad thing. Like if Christian Brindle's selling more policies than me, then like that gives me something. I want to sell as many policies as Christian Brindle, then I want to sell more, right? I want to be able to measure myself off of somebody until eventually I'm just measuring myself off of myself, hopefully. But it just depends on what you're passionate about or what you really want to do, because I'm not going to measure myself off of policies sold. I love to do that, and I've loved to do that in the past, but I want to measure myself in the long run off of the impact that I can make on this industry. And we got a long ways to go. But I see like a light at the end of the tunnel with these guys you mentioned, Justin Brock and Eric Fierro, and, a lot of guys just changing the game by providing a ton of value and actually, walking the walk, not just kind of talking the talk. So, that's what excites me anymore. It's not, because at a certain point, the policies just start to come, and, the agents are going to kind of recruit themselves, and, they're going to see what you're doing and want a piece of that. And that's what I'm trying to build on now, rather than, fit a bunch of square pegs in round holes, drive myself crazy, trying to turn somebody into a top producer that doesn't want to be. I'm just looking for those top producers, looking for those people that actually want it, right? Because that's who's fun. Sometimes I look at, I'll jump off my soapbox here, but sometimes I look at, someone like Cody Askins, and like, he's legit got people paying him to do what I want to do so bad. It's like, man, I just want to train some agents to be top producers. And while I do it every day, I can't ever get enough of it. And so, but he's got people paying him directly to do that. And those people are invested. And so, it's just exciting to see even things like, what Cody's doing, and with 8% Nation, I'll see you in a couple months, everybody.
Hey, I'm excited. I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
So we'll get to meet in person.
Yeah, man, I'll be there too. I'll be at that Jordan Belfort dinner too. I'm excited. I'm going to go to dinner with the Wolf of Wall Street.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. That's going to be really, really exciting. Quick question for you, Brad, on because I know before we got on, we talked a little bit about under 65 sales. There's a lot of people in the audience and a lot of people that are going to see this video that probably just do Medicare, or maybe they've just done Medicare. My stance on my stance is in terms of, doing under 65 sales is I think it's a great thing to add to your portfolio. Like we just started adding it in the last year to kind of what we do. And if there's an agent that's watching this that maybe, let's say they've done Medicare for 2-3 years, they're good at it. Let's say they have, a couple hundred clients in their book of business. What can it bring to the table for them to add under 65 to what they do?
Oh my gosh. I mean, besides a lot of money, more value, right? I mean, and then that's what we're paid for. We're paid for value. The more value you provide, the more problems you solve, the more money you're going to make. And so, obviously you're going to be able to provide your clients a lot more value. I know guys that are in Medicare and the under 65 and final expense and annuities that are now adding property and casualty just to be able to provide more value. So if you're solely focused on Medicare, and maybe you should be for a little while, till you build that book up a little bit, and then you can pivot. But we talk about the spouse in the house, right? That's a Galen Hendricks term. She's the queen of the bundle. You talk about the spouse in the house, being able to help them. You talk about being able to target. You want the best T65 leads you could possibly get. Well, then write somebody that's 60 and wait 5 years or 4.5. And that's ultimately why I'm big on the Medicare side now too. I mean, that's the next section of the agency we're building out. I mean, that's going to be huge. And the reason it's going to be huge is because we built, I don't even know how many clients in the under 60. I mean, we've well over 1,500 clients, and in the under 65 space that, a good majority of them are going to be, turning 65. And so being able to provide that value is important. Otherwise, then they go to Christian Brindle, and now they're Christian Brindle's client until they want to buy final expense insurance and whatever else. So it's just being able to service the need, and there is a need. And I guess I didn't even realize it until Justin and I did that. Justin, myself, and Cody did that under 65, the health insurance masterclass. And that was my first real experience realizing how many Medicare agents don't offer it and don't see the value in it. And it's like, there's so much money in it. I mean, there's as much money in it in the short term as there is in your Medicare policy, if not more. There's probably more money in the short term. It just doesn't have the long residual tail it's, with very little labor, right? I mean, you servicing your Medicare clients 6-7 years down the road, it just doesn't happen as much as, servicing your health insurance client. But, if you're an exclusive Medicare agent, that's all you do, then focus on that 60 to 65 or even 55 to 65, and then just sit back and wait for him to turn 65. I mean, Justin Brock himself told me that when he was writing under 65, he would go into his phone and he didn't care if it was 5 years out or 7 years out or 10 years out. When that person, he would put that person's birth date in his iCal on his phone, and he's still running appointments off of those, leads that he dealt with 5 years ago. So it's huge.
It's so smart too. It's like the concept of not wasting a lead. I always tell agents, hey, if you come across a lead and you can't write them, maybe there's a Medicare lead and they're working, and a lot of agents just toss it to the side, and they're like, okay, well, I can't do anything there. They got a good group plan. I tell them, I'm like, why don't you call them in a year and see if they're still working?
Those agents are making too much freaking money then or something, because I don't know how you just throw money away like that.
Right. I mean, the other thing too about what I think the thing that really kind of dawned on me, when I saw a lot of people, yourself, Justin, doing really well in the under 65 market, was I kind of noticed there wasn't even close to the competition that maybe the Medicare market or the life insurance industry might have. It just doesn't seem like there's as many agents that are doing it. I think there's a huge opportunity there.
Yeah. And that goes back to the whole, you don't know what you don't know thing. And when Justin and I actually got on the phone to game plan that masterclass, he's like, I just want to talk about how much of an underserved niche it is. And I'm like, I stopped him. I'm like, wait a second, what do you mean it's underserved? And he's like, yeah, dude. I mean, I would say it's probably one of the most underserved, next, and he named a couple others, and, he knows a little bit more than I do, statistically speaking, but he brought that up, and I was like, you know what, dude, I didn't realize that was a thing, because it's all I knew for, 5 years or 3.5 at this point. But like, that's where I started and that's where I lived. And so I felt like there was competition, not like difficult competition, a lot of slimy agents doing, the bad things, which
sure,
some people can, I'm saying that like not in a negative way, because they make my job and my life easier. Like it's just, I mean, they're not going to last. They'll get pushed out as we bring people like, you and Justin and the other guys who aren't solely dependent on making that one sale, to survive. And so, I think that for me, it was news that it's an underserved market, and that excites me. That even got me more fired up to realize, like, wow, it's underserved niche. Like, I never really looked at it. I looked at it as like massive pie where everybody is just, trying to get their piece of, and that's not really the case. So, yeah, there's your next reason to sell under 65. It's, I mean, huge market, obviously, that's underserved.
Yeah. I mean, and one thing that I've been thinking a lot about too recently that is it's never really dawned on me before, but like, you always hear about how, oversaturated the Medicare market even might be. But if you really look at it, the amount of agents in comparison to the amount of beneficiaries out there, it's unbelievable, and I mean, you could even make the argument, I mean, of course, not to the level of under 65, but, the Medicare market's probably pretty wide open too. I mean, a Justin Brock that has 20,000 clients, 25,000 clients, whatever the case might be. Our organization with
he's at 14. I think it's Medicare Bob that's at 25. Sorry, Justin.
Okay. My apologies if I got that wrong. But if someone has 10,000 clients and up, the percentage is still so small of the pie.
Yeah.
And that's crazy to think about.
Yeah. No, Justin posted something not too long ago kind of about that, or he talked about that, with these huge call centers like eHealth and, every other Medicare call center, you still, I mean, and I work in the Medicare space often. I'm not talking to a Medicare beneficiary on a daily basis even that says, oh yeah, my coverage is through eHealth, or my coverage is through Joe Smith with eHealth, or, whatever the case is. These beneficiaries are tech savvy now, so they're forwarding you emails that they got from their previous broker or whatever else. And, while I don't talk to a ton of beneficiaries, the ones I do talk to, I don't see like eHealth every time, and even if they have 500,000 clients, again, still just kind of a small number in comparison to how many people are turning 65 every day. So, yeah, there's plenty of opportunity out there for everyone. And if it's oversaturated at any point in time, then I don't know that, people like you and I and a lot of people I know would be doing as well as we are, so.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I agree completely. Like I did a video with Galen. You mentioned Galen a couple days ago, actually. And, she kind of said the same thing. And I thought it was so interesting. She's like, I've never ran into a Justin Brock client. I've never ran into a Christian Brindle client. I've never ran into a Brad Hannon.
The day I do, though.
Yeah. I mean, even here locally, like for the longest time, we're in Utah. For the longest time, we were just selling here in Utah. And I can probably count on one hand how many times we ran into clients that were part of, that were working with other people in our organization. It was just, and that's just in a little tiny backwater state like that too. I mean, it's crazy how many people there are out there.
Yeah. No, I joke, but in all seriousness, you come across, even if I did, like, and that's the cool thing is if I did come across a client that literally knew their agent was Christian Brindle or Justin Brock, I'm going to shop their options. And if I find them a better option, I bet you nine, and I don't know how I would handle the situation, but I probably would mention something, and then, maybe I could see it going a little something like this. Like, hey, Christian, I came across, Susie Smith here in Florida, but she was on, she had her on Aetna Plan F, but, United is this much cheaper. I could see it going something like, well, Ryder, good for you. Like, you lose one client. I mean, we lose clients all the time. And it's kind of part of it. You certainly want to do your best at retaining clients, but like, I just feel like and the reason why I say this, because I just feel like if you can beat what I provided, if somebody can beat what I provided my client, then I didn't do my job, right? Or at least I didn't, do my job well enough. So every one of my clients understands, like, hey, at some point in time, you might find something that seems better, sounds better, looks better, whatever. I have access to that. So let me know and I can certainly help you out. So I don't know if I'd have an opportunity to sell one of your clients or Justin's clients or Medicare Bob's clients or whatever, because you do such a good job of making sure that they know that, hey, this isn't the Justin Brock plan that I'm putting you on. This isn't the Christian Brindle plan that I'm putting you on. This is the best plan that we have right now. And if that changes, we can always reevaluate. I mean, assuming you qualify and things like that. So, it's the clients we lose are very small in comparison to how much we're adding every single day. And I think that's, the ultimate goal. I lose agents and then I add 5 more for the one that I lost, and that's kind of the, you're not going to be all things to all people, right?
Right. 100%. One thing that I was really interested to talk with you about, you mentioned wanting to kind of change the industry. What does that look like to you? Do you know yet?
Yeah, I love that you asked that, because it's literally something that, like, I can't even put into words really. And everybody a lot of people tell me, I wouldn't say everybody, but some people tell me, they're like, man, you're just so good at like speaking and like, and I'm like, I feel like I'm stuttering and stumbling all over myself the whole time I'm talking, but like, that's because my brain is working 5 times as fast and my mouth just isn't putting it out there. But that being said, like my mind has this picture of what it could look like, but it's just hard to put into words. But I would say that what that looks like is agents are going to wherever the value is being provided. There's not, you don't have these problems with releases. You don't have, you don't have these dead leg uplines, if you will, that, have made their money and kind of got out. Because I think we need to move away, and this is like bold to even say this, but I almost feel like there's a better way to do things than like just a pure override system. Because eventually, no matter who you are, if you're striving for that next level, you're going to hit a ceiling. And I think there's a way we can do things where there's not a ceiling, right? Where the opportunity is truly endless. Because that's what excited me when I got an insurance. They're like, you can go all the way to the top, and here's how you do it. But then you realize like the top isn't actually the top. Like you're at the top of where you can be, but you're realizing that's not the top. Like the top is here, and everybody else is telling me that I can't do that, or whatever the case is. So I just think that we, as a younger generation coming up as the future leaders, I think that the industry is going to change either way, with or without me. I just want to, like I said, lock arms with everybody that's doing it. And I think that, the technology is catching up much slower than it should, but, technology catching up, the kind of pushing out some of the dead weight, if you will, in the industry. And I hate to say that, and I'm probably going to get some hate mail for it, but, it exists out there no matter what. So.
Yeah. I mean, you can say anything, get hate mail. I've kind of learned that over the years.
Yeah. No, and you know what? It is what it is. I think that for a long time, I've just kind of, you heard me earlier. I said when I came in October of 2017, I said this is my last open enrollment, and this was only like my 3rd open enrollment at that point in time. So like, this is my last open enrollment. I'm done. I'm going into real estate or something where it just doesn't have that, like, I don't know, you just say the word insurance and it's just like, it just doesn't have that appeal that everything else has. And I think that's some of the things we're starting to change. I think that's, a huge shift from where we're currently at.
Yeah. I think you're right. And I love the idea of, building the relationships with people in the industry, locking arms with people kind of for a bigger purpose. Like my ultimate goal, and it's an insane goal because I'm so far away from it. Like I can't even see it in the distance. This is how far I am away from it. But I'd love to create my own carrier one day, create my own insurance company one day. And I know that people that I'm getting to know now are going to be able to play a role in that, as far as partnering up. It's not something I can ever do alone. but I think, big goals are what push us. It's what gets us out of bed in the morning.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for that, you're born in the wrong generation, because you'll still be able to do it. But I was told, talking to some, old souls in this industry,
Yeah.
10, 12, 15 years ago, you don't like the products you're selling, you could go out for, a couple $100,000 and start your own. And this is more in the under 65 space, but like,
Yeah.
Like back in the day, you didn't like the products you're selling, you just go out and create your own product for a fraction of what it costs now to get it through, all of the red tape that you have to push it through. And you just start selling your own type of product. So
yeah,
that's exciting. And that's a huge goal. And you've got to have that type of huge goal. But mine would be, and again, you're talking to me at a time where I'm working through it like now,
mm-hmm.
This is exactly the things I'm thinking about. But mine would be to create an opportunity that doesn't have boundaries, that doesn't have limitations, that I can actually bring somebody on board and resource them to do exactly what I did, right? So, and I'm not talking like franchise either. I'm talking fully for the benefit of that other person, right? Obviously it's business. There's still going to be some sort of transaction, but I don't know how that looks. I don't know if we use an equity type of system like everybody else uses. I don't know if the override system is, flawless. But it's conversations like these that I walk away from every time thinking that I learned or gained a little bit more insight as to that, because the goal is so big, it just doesn't make sense at this point, Right. And I'm far away from it, right? I'm far away from it, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's like Gary Vaynerchuk buying the Jets. It's that type of goal. Now he's probably getting closer and closer and closer, but that was something that I always loved about him, is he set this ridiculous goal, that he might never be able to catch, but it's the chase. It's the chase. It's the journey of getting there that kind of paints the way a little bit. Last question I got for you, Brad, and then we can wrap up here. You talk about the future of insurance. Where do you see the industry going in the next decade? As we start this new decade in 2020, where do you see it going in the next decade?
Yeah. So, again, it goes back to one of these things where it's like you talk to Justin, you talk to Galen, you talk to people that actually have industry insight. And I just kind of stay in my bubble and that's why I'm happy to be on this. I'm happy to have done some things with Cody and Justin recently and get a little bit outside of that bubble. But for so long, man, my head was like blinders on. And so I don't have the insight with carriers and things like that. But I will say my feeling is that we work off of more of value-based system where whoever's out there providing the most value digitally, physically, with an office space, with product knowledge, with systems, technologies, whatever, that's where the majority of agents are turning, right? I can't imagine what it looks like 10 years from now, but I know that the shift that we're seeing is following the value, right? Whoever's putting out the most content, and this is why, I love being on something like this. It's something that I haven't done for a long time. I told Cody Askins and Landon not too long ago, jokingly, like, man, I used to think marketing was for people that weren't good at sales. Like marketing, like, what do I need to market for? I get somebody on the phone, I can close it. Marketing is for someone that's bad at sales. But like, I'm realizing how wrong that was, and that's okay. But I think we go to more of a digital system, more of a, the more technology starts to change, the more freedoms we're going to have to be able to work within the confines of our own home or wherever we're at, as we already kind of can. But I think the biggest thing is you're going to see these cutthroat types of agencies pushed out because of the values system that's going to be, out there. If you're doing this in Medicare or under 65, and you're not releasing agents that have zero debt, then you're not going to exist. You're going to make a bad name. And 10 years from now, because of social media, like 10 years ago, agencies could do that shit and nobody would really know about it unless it was just kind of someone in that circle. But now with social media, I mean, TikTok, freaking everything, you're going to know that if this agency doesn't offer release, they're going to tie you up forever, and then they're going to sink. And so it's going to create like a free market, a much more free market, which is what it always should have been and always should be. I think that releases will come much easier. I think that, you'll see people doing you'll see agencies doing some crazy things to provide the most value. And I'm excited for that, right? I'm excited to see the competition and the products that come out and the technology that's released. And because I think that now more than ever with social media, with everything, it must happen. So.
Hey, well, that's great stuff. I mean, we all love to hear that. I mean, and I agree with you, because I even think we're seeing the industry trend towards that already, right? I mean, you're seeing a lot of brokerages and agencies, whether it be like even in like a Medicare mentors group, like if someone's not going to grant a release, they're going to get lit up,
Yeah.
and 2,000 agents are going to see it, and they don't want that. They don't want those kind of problems, and like for a lot of Medicare Advantage carriers, I know, from when I got into the business, it was a lot harder to get releases even back then in 2014 or so, 15. And, for some carriers, you had to go without selling that carrier for 6 months. And that's tough. That's not easy sometimes. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think we're seeing that now, and I hope we continue to see more of it, because I think it's good for everybody.
Yeah. I don't know exactly what it looks like, and nobody obviously does. The carriers might have big plans, but ultimately the carriers work for us. And, I think that the more, and the good ones do anyways. And I think that the more, we're connecting, the more everybody else is locking arms in the independent community, and, just kind of pushing for that shift, the more things we're going to see happen that, they're not even looking at. So, I'm excited, man. And, I'm inspired by everything that I see. Medicare mentors, you mentioned, we talk about Justin, we talk about all of these guys are my inspiration for, bringing that same vibe to the under 65 space, and, being recognized as one of the industry leaders in that under 65 space, while still knowing that Medicare is something that we're absolutely still going to take advantage of. No doubt about it. But my passion, definitely lies in the under 65. So.
Well, awesome, buddy. I mean, Brad, if anyone's watching this and they might want to link arms with you, they might want to do business with you, how can they get in touch with you? What's the best way?
Yeah. So the best way is just Facebook, Bradley Hannon, or Instagram, B_Hannon. My social presence isn't the best, because it just wasn't ever a focus, but now, hopefully, you're going to start seeing more and more and more of me with training videos and things like that, because, when it comes to under 65, I do know more than I give myself credit for sometimes. So I'm happy to help anybody out.
Well, that's good stuff. That's good stuff, Brad. Thank you so much for taking the time and taking some time away from, the end of the week here, and for bringing all the value. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man. Thank you. And before we wrap it up, are we doing cocktail hour tonight or what? Because normally on Fridays when I see you, it's for the cocktail hour, not for this.
We definitely are. So it is 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time tonight.
All right. Wow. Good deal. I'm going to have to stay up past my bedtime then.
Well, I hope to see you on. And for the record, I know on the last time, I think every single person on there was a little bit when you came on. You weren't the only one.
Good.
I know I was.
Makes you feel better. Good deal.
All right. Well, everybody, thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like, drop a comment, subscribe for future six-figure Medicare agent content. Until next time, take care.